Everyone laughed when he chose her. They called him a fool, a dreamer. Some whispered that he'd lost his mind. Others said it out loud. After all, what kind of man with a promising future would choose her, a quiet, worn-down girl with threadbare dresses and a past no one wanted to speak of? But Noah didn't care. He had seen something no one else bothered to look for. It was at the town's harvest dance when he first noticed her. While others twirled and laughed beneath the glowing lanterns, she sat near the back, folding napkins and wiping tables. Her hair hung like a curtain, hiding most of her face, but her hands told stories, delicate, careful, strong. Noah wasn't sure what pulled him to her. Maybe it was the way she moved, like someone always prepared to leave quietly. Or maybe it was the tired kindness in her eyes when she finally looked up and caught him staring. Her name was Elsie. No one remembered when she came to town, or even why. She worked odd jobs, slept in a rundown room above the baker's shop, and spoke only when necessary. Rumors swirled. Some said she'd escaped something bad. Others said she was just simple-minded. But none of it mattered to Noah. He was a rancher's son, just returned from 2 years of drifting, odd jobs, lonely roads, empty dreams. His father had passed during the drought, and the ranch had nearly gone to ruin. When he came back to the broken fences and empty barn, everyone expected him to pick someone strong, lively, someone with means to help him rebuild. Instead, he walked up to Elsie one quiet Sunday, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers and asked, "Would you walk with me a while?" She looked at him like he was joking. He wasn't. From that day, the town watched in disbelief. She had nothing. He had little. Together, they looked like a pair of misplaced puzzle pieces. But what no one saw was what happened after the walks. After the whispers faded. Elsie listened. She sat beside him as he talked about the ranch, about the weight of failure, about the silence left behind by a father who never said much but meant the world. She didn't offer solutions. She offered presence. And then, she started helping. She learned to mend fences, learned how to patch a roof. She rose before dawn, cooking with scraps, baking bread with flour she bartered from the store. Her hands, those same quiet hands, turned into instruments of quiet revival. But the greatest thing she gave him came not from her hands, but her heart. 3 months after they were married under the willow tree behind the barn, she told him she'd found something. He followed her to the edge of town, where a crying child clung to the steps of the old train depot. A boy, maybe 5, thin as a rail and shaking from hunger. "He's like I was," she said quietly. Noah looked at her. "You want to keep him?" he asked. "No," she said. "I want to love him. There's a difference." They named him Caleb. The boy didn't speak for weeks. But Elsie didn't push him. She read him stories by the fire, humming lullabies from a time she never spoke of. Eventually, Caleb began to speak. And then smile. And then laugh. They found the next child by the riverbed, Lucy, wrapped in a blanket, barely more than 2. Then another, Thomas, left behind at the fairgrounds in the middle of the night. Some called them strays. Others said the couple had gone mad, collecting broken things. But Noah saw what was really happening. Elsie was building something. Piece by piece, child by child, she was turning an old, forgotten ranch into a home. Laughter began to echo through the valley. The windows glowed at night. The fields, once dry and dead, started to bloom again. Not because of luck. Because of love. But it wasn't easy. Money was always short. There were winters they huddled under one blanket, sharing stories instead of food. There were nights Caleb woke screaming, reliving things he never told them about. Lucy refused to speak for over a year. And Thomas ran away twice. Each time, Elsie held firm. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She waited. She listened. She loved. Noah learned from her. One evening, while fixing a broken wheel on the wagon, he looked over at her rocking Lucy in her arms, humming that soft tune. He realized the girl he had chosen, the one everyone laughed at, had given him everything he never knew he needed. Not a wife. Not a helper. A family. A purpose. One day, the town's preacher stopped by. He stood awkwardly on the porch, holding his hat. "I owe you an apology," he said. "We all do. We didn't see her." "Not really." Noah smiled, watching Elsie in the yard teaching Caleb how to plant tomatoes. "No," he said, "you didn't. But I'm glad I did." Years passed. The children grew. Caleb joined the fire department. Lucy became a teacher. Thomas built furniture, carving each piece with delicate patterns that reminded Noah of Elsie's hands. And the ranch? It thrived. Not because of money, but because love had soaked into its very soil. When people asked Noah how he did it, how he rebuilt from nothing, he'd say, "I didn't. She did." Elsie never wanted recognition. She never spoke much about the past. But sometimes, late at night, when the house was quiet and the stars were out, she would say to Noah, "They all thought I was broken. But you saw a seed." He'd hold her hand, the same hand that mended fences, baked bread, rocked crying babies, and he'd whisper, "I just gave it water. You did the growing." They stayed together until their hair turned silver and the porch creaked under the weight of grandchildren. And even then, folks would pass by the ranch and say, "That's the place love built." Because everyone laughed when he chose her. But she built him a family from nothing.